So guys, I'm pretty sure by now you've heard this crazy story about Haitian immigrants coming out of Springfield, Ohio, eating pets. Normally, this would have been a fringe story on the internet that would have came and went with the explicit intention of fear-mongering about immigrants. But that all changed when the former president and a person who has a very high likelihood of becoming the president again went in front of 70 million people and amplified the BS.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
The crazy thing about this is that now, since the leader of the Republican Party went to spread this crazy story, you have a ton of people, from politicians to conservative pundits to random people on the internet, trying to make this story true in any way they can. And it's honestly a sad thing because it gives a grim look into our politics and the crazy effects it has on people. But before I get into that, let's get on the same page in reference to where all this began. So this story originates from a Facebook group where a woman gave an anecdote of a cat owner finding her dead pet hanging from a tree, skinned, ready to be eaten by a household occupied by Haitian immigrants. Now here's the thing. She heard this story from her neighbor, who heard it from a friend, who heard it from her daughter. Now, if y'all know anything about Chinese whispers or a game of telephone, you can already see why this is a problem. Because after this point, this story really started to pick up some steam around conservative circles, with a post from Senator Ted Cruz and eventually vice presidential hopeful and current U.S. Senator JD Vance. Mind you, the same day these tweets were made, the Springfield authorities already came out and mentioned that there are no credible reports or evidence of cats or pets being eaten in the community. Again, this still wasn't enough to stop the former president from parroting the story.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is
the people on television say my dog was taken and used for food.
And this, of course, created one of the worst cases of working backwards from conclusions that I've seen in a while. Over the past few days, people within conservative circles started posting photos and videos claiming to have evidence of the eating the cats claim, only for each and every single story to get debunked one after the other. From dead cats in Texas where the cops said they were killed by coyotes, to posts like this where it's a chicken or a duck being grilled, but it's being passed off as a cat being cooked by Haitians. There is even a story of an actual lady who killed a cat. The problem is, this lady wasn't even from Springfield. She was from a town miles away, nor was she even Haitian. She just so happened to be a native-born psycho whose deeds have been attributed to the Haitians of Springfield. Guys, there's even a photo going around of a guy legally removing roadkill from the streets, and he was being accused of looking for random animals to make his meal. Absolutely ridiculous. And this is just one of the many stories that have all been debunked. And look, I think the climate being created for the Haitians in that town is unfortunate, as they likely can't even so much as jaywalk in that town without conservatives making a big deal about it. And if you're looking for an example of that, New York Post wrote an article with a flashy headline that basically equated to a fender bender between a Haitian immigrant and a local resident, where nothing out of the ordinary happened at all. They did this, of course, to feed into the madness. This entire story makes me hate our politics even more, as it's clearly a case of fear-mongering around the topic of immigration in order to drum up political support. And you can say, well, wait, hold on. Don't we have some issues with illegal immigration in our country? And isn't this simply an example of it? Well, no, because this story doesn't apply to that problem. And the reason it doesn't is because all of the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio are legal. A lot of them got here through TPS or temporary protected status. Now, if this instead was a conversation in reference to a small town and the sudden increase in population of a small town and the adjustments that have to be made to the infrastructure in order to support the increased population, then maybe there's a conversation to be had in reference to how we help them. But that is not the good faith convo that we're having. Instead, they want you to fear for your cats. So for all that talk we got about being fine with legal immigration, we now get a chance to see the mask slip and have the game revealed for what it is. They just don't like immigrants, period. And look, again, it's a sad thing when an entire community is demonized simply for political gain. Mind you, right now, it just so happens to be the Haitians. Yesterday was the Mexicans, and tomorrow it'll be whatever the flavor of the week is. The folks with this particular agenda have no problem spreading a BS story, regardless of who it harms, even when they know it's BS. And if you want more proof, look no further than Vice Presidential hopeful JD Vance.
Haitians are eating dogs and cats. Can you affirmatively say now that that is a rumor that has no basis with evidence?
Dana, the evidence is the first-hand account of my constituents who are telling me that this happened. And by the way, I've been trying to talk about the problems in Springfield for months, and the American media ignored it. There was a congressional hearing just last week of angel moms who lost children because Kamala Harris let criminal migrants into this country who then murdered their children. The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to, create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you guys are completely letting Kamala Harris coast. You had one interview with her. You talk about pushing back against me, Dana. You didn't push back against the fact that she cast the deciding vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which is why a lot of Americans can't afford food and housing.
You just said that you're creating a story.
Public policy.
Sir, you just said that you're creating the story.
What's that, Dana?
You just said that this is a story that you created. So the eating dogs and cats thing is not.
We are creating.
Guys, I want to be very clear. I did not pause it. I did not pause it. He actually froze there for those few seconds that you just saw. You see, let me let you in on a secret. When someone freezes after being asked a question and all of a sudden they cannot hear what the person on the other side is saying when they were having a full conversation with them up to that point, that's them thinking of some BS. That's them being caught flat-footed and trying to figure out what it is they can say to squirm their way out of the hole they've just dug themselves into. Him not being able to hear is just about as believable as this story. Guys, look, full transparency. I have a personal interest in this story. My family is from Haiti. My parents are Haitian immigrants. My aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my wife's family, my friend. So I've literally been surrounded by Haitians my entire life. And though I personally don't feel offended by this story because it's so bogus you can immediately dismiss it offhand, I don't like seeing the continued disparagement of the reputation of the Haitian people. Not to mention the threats to the safety of the folks living in Springfield, Ohio, as this story continues to make the rounds and some people are dumb enough to believe it.
I don't have a brain.
You stupid.
And look, if you're offended by that last line, yes, I'm talking about you. At the end of the day, the statements and actions of our political leaders matter because people follow and believe them. And so I think it's important that they try to choose their words wisely. Remember, beliefs influence actions, and actions have consequences. So before you just accept what a politician says because you like them, try to have a healthy dose of skepticism and understand the motivations for why they are spreading that particular message. Anyways, that's my perspective. What's yours? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe as I got much more content like this on the way. So until next time, YouTube, peace.